Hey everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to create awesome looking dynamic progress charts using a pivot table and a slicer. Ready to get started? For this demonstration I've got a worksheet with data for a fictional fast food restaurant chain. The information I have includes the year, the month, the country, the product, units sold, and sales. To create the pivot table, I'm going to click on any cell that has data, doesn't matter which one, and then go to the Insert menu and choose Pivot Table. I'm going to click OK, which will create the pivot table in a new worksheet within this workbook. In this new worksheet, we now have a pivot table placeholder on the left and the pivot table fields on the right. For this example, I will want to see the product sales by country. To start, I'm going to drag the products into the rows area. Next, I will drag the sales into the values area. For the purpose of this example, I don't really care about the dollar amount specifically. I actually want to see their percentage values of total sales. To change how the information is displayed, I'm going to click on one of the sales results and then right-click. I will select Show Values As and then choose Percentage of Column Total. We now have the percentage of total sales of each product. I don't think 2 decimal places is really the level of precision I need, so I'm going to have it set to no decimal places. To do this, I'll highlight the sales percentages and then right-click and choose Format Cells and change the decimal places to 0. Now I want to filter the results by the country, so I'll drag the country in the pivot table fields to the Filters area. Now as you can see, we have a drop down above our main pivot table where we can filter the results by a specific country. Currently it is set to all, however we can easily specify a country. Let's do United States. As you can see, the resulting percentages below have changed. In order to create our progress charts, we'll need to add some what I'd like to call helper data that we can hide later on. What we will need for each product is the remaining percentage, which is simply the sales percentage subtracted from 100%. In column C4, I'll enter equals 1 minus B4 and click Enter. Now we'll copy that formula to the other 3 products. In cell A10, I'm going to create a title that we'll use later on for the dashboard. I'll enter equals B1 because I want to display the current country, followed by ampersand, opening quotes, followed by a space, and then product sales, followed by closing quotes, and then I'll click Enter. Now, whenever we change the filter, the text that we will use for the title will automatically be updated. Alright, now we can start making our progress charts. I'll click on an empty cell. It doesn't matter where. And then I'll go to the Insert tab and click on the down arrow that's right beside the pie chart icon and choose Doughnut. We now have an empty placeholder. Next, I'll highlight the placeholder and right-click and choose Select Data. Then I'll choose Add. I'll leave the series name blank, and then I'll change the series values to 21s with a comma separator between each of them. I'm doing this because I want the progress chart to have a number of visual increments of value. I'll click OK, and then I'll check to make sure I did actually do 20. Once I've confirmed, I'll click OK. I don't really need the legend, so I'll highlight it and then delete. Next, I'll change all the individual colors to one single color. To do this, I'll click on the ring, and the Format Data Series menu will appear on the right. I'll select the paint can, and then click on the Fill drop-down list and select Solid Fill. The default blue looks fine to me. I'll then select the series options. That's that 3-bar chart icon. I want to make the donut a little thicker. I'll change the donut hole size to 65%. I'm going to make my donut chart a little smaller. So I'll go to the Format tab under Chart Tool and change the size to 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. While I'm here, I'm going to remove the outer border by clicking on the Shape outline and choosing No Outline. Next, I'll need to do the same for the other products, so I'll need 3 more donut charts. But don't worry, we won't need to do all the previous steps all over again. Instead, I'll highlight the current chart and then press Ctrl+C to copy, and then use Ctrl+V to paste to create 3 more copies. I'm going to try and align them as best I can. Next, I'll select all of them by holding the Shift key as I select each donut, and we'll align them vertically by going to Format under Drawing Tools, and I'll select Align Top under the Align icon to align all the charts at their tops. Then I'll choose Distribute Horizontally so that they're all spaced evenly apart. Now, to make each product's donut chart a little easier to distinguish from each other, I'll change the colors. To do this, I'll click on the donut and right-click and select Format Data Series. This will bring up the menu on the right. I will click on the paint can icon and change the color to green. I'll do the same process for the next 2. And I'll choose orange and purple. Now this is where the progress chart really takes shape. Let's add some labels for each chart. I'll click on the Insert tab and then choose Text Box. I'll draw the text box under our first progress chart. I'll make sure the box is selected, and then I'll go to the formula bar and enter equals A4 so that it inputs the product name, cheeseburger. Next, I'll copy the first text box using Ctrl+C to copy, and then paste 3 times using Ctrl+V. I now have labels under all of the charts, but they all refer to the cheeseburger product in cell A4, so I'll need to change each one. For the French fries, we'll change it to A5. For the hamburger, we'll change it to A6. And finally, for the milkshake, we'll change it to A7. Now I'll select all 4 text boxes by holding down the Shift key as I click on them. Now I can change the font size and font weight for all of them at the same time. I will also center them all within their text boxes. And while they are still all highlighted, I'll go to the Format tab under the Drawing Tools and choose Align Middle. Now I'll drag them all to reposition. Next, I'll change the font colors to match their respective charts above. We'll begin with the first chart and click on it and right-click and choose Select Data. Next, we'll click on the Add button. This time we will enter a series name, and it will be for our first product. I'll make sure I've selected the series name in the text entry field, and then I'll click on the cheeseburger product. Next, for the series values, I'll clear what's in the text entry field, and then I'll highlight the two values next to cheeseburger in cells B4 and C4. I'll then click OK, and then click OK once again. This second data series needs to be put on a secondary axis. I'll click on the secondary data series, and then right-click and choose Change Series Chart Type. And then I'll make the cheeseburger the secondary axis by checking this checkbox, and then click OK. Next, I need to modify this series so that it reveals the primary series that I created first that is underneath this one. I'll begin with the blue segment. I'll click on the donut twice to highlight only the blue segment. I'll now right-click and choose Format Data Point, which brings up the menu on the right. I'll click the paint can icon and change the color to No Fill. Now we can see the primary data series below. Next, I'll modify the orange segment by clicking on the donut twice. This time I do want it to be a solid color. I'll choose a light gray, but I will make it semi-transparent so that you can partially see the primary data series below it. I will set the transparency to 20%. Next, we'll do the same thing 3 more times for each of the other products. So for the green chart, I'll add a secondary data series by clicking on the chart and then right-click and choose Select Data. I will add a new data series. This series name will be French fries, and I can do this by making sure I'm in the series name text entry field and clicking on cell A5. I will then clear the series value field and then highlight the two values next to French fries in cells B5 and C5. And then I'll click OK, and then OK once again. Now I need to make the outer ring the secondary axis. I'll click on the outer ring and then right-click and select Change Series Chart Type and check the secondary axis checkbox and click OK. Now I'll click twice on the blue segment and choose No Fill. That's under the paint can icon. Next I will click twice on the orange segment, and this time I will choose the solid fill and use the same gray color that we used in the first chart, and once again set the transparency to 20%. The process is the same for the other two, except we'll change the data source to hamburger and milkshake. I'll speed things up a little while I do the other two. So now we have all the donut progress charts working. Let's change the country to see the charts change. As you can see while they're changing, it's a little hard to really see how much they're changing. Let's add the actual percentages to each of the charts so that it's easier to see the values. To do this, I'll go to the Insert tab and choose Text Box. I'll then draw it below my first progress chart. Next, I'll click on the edge of the text box and then go to the formula bar and enter equals B4 to show the percentage for cheeseburgers. Don't worry, we'll make them all look a lot prettier in a moment. First, I'll copy the first one we did with Ctrl+C, and then I'll paste with Ctrl+V 3 times to create the labels for the other progress charts. I'll put them underneath each chart so they're easier to keep track of. As you can see, they're all showing the value for cheeseburgers, so we'll need to edit each one to change the value. For the second one, I'll highlight the text box, then go to the formula bar and change the value from B4 to B5. For the third one, I'll highlight the text box and then go to the formula bar and change the value from B4 to B6. And finally, for the fourth one, once again I'll highlight the text box and then go to the formula bar and change the value from B4 to B7. I will select all the text boxes by holding down the Shift key as I click on each one of them. Next, I will go to the Format tab under Drawing Tools and set both the Shape Fill and Shape Outline to No Fill or Outline. I will then center the text in each of the text boxes vertically and horizontally. I will then increase the font size to 24 and will make it bold. Now I'll change their colors to the same color as their respective charts. Green for the French fries, orange for the hamburger, and purple for the milkshake. Now I will place the percentages in the center of the progress charts. Next, let's create a title that will change based on the country filter. I'll begin by inserting a text box and drawing it to fit the area above the charts. Now, I'll make sure the text box is highlighted, and I'll go to the formula bar where I will enter equals A10. If you remember from earlier in the video, I applied a formula in that cell that got the filter value, and then added the phrase product sales to it. I'll click enter, and now we have a dynamic title. Let's increase the font size, align to center, change the font color, and make it bold. Now if we go back to the filter above the pivot table and make changes, you'll see that our title now changes. Using that filter is okay, but let's make it a little easier for anyone who views this dashboard. To do this, I'm going to insert a slicer. I'll begin by clicking anywhere on the pivot table and go to the Insert tab and choose Slicer. I will then select Country. Since we only have 4 countries, I'm going to change how the slicer looks by changing the number of columns from 1 to 4. Next, I'll manually adjust the width so that it is wide as the progress charts above. And then I'll adjust the height. So now we can change the country directly below the progress charts in an intuitive way for others to use. Well, that's it. We now have an interactive dashboard with progress charts. I really hope this video was helpful to you. If you find my videos informative, please give this video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing and clicking the notification icon to be notified when I release new videos. Thanks again and have an excellent day.